All right, so this house had this box in here, and we put a fan in that only requires one switch. So we could either reduce this down to one, which is a lot of work, and you got wires going down connected to the outlets, and I don't really want to do that. So in this situation, what I do is I'll cap these off. I could use them for later if I want to put more lights in this room, which probably will. I could connect another switch to this. And in the meantime, Home Depot sells this nice false switch here by Leviton. And you put this in the double house, so it looks like a switch, but it's not. And then you just have the one switch. So later, when I put more lights in this room, then I'll be able to add another switch without having to get a bigger box or anything like that. So, this is just future planning kind of stuff. Saves a lot of time and work too. It probably takes a half hour to switch this box out. You don't have to do that. So aesthetically, it's going to look pretty nice, I think. And functionality-wise, it sets you up for the future so that you could add a switch here if you want and jump it off of this and add more lights if you want. And you don't have to screw with the box and take this whole box out and rewire everything, which is kind of a pain in the neck if you're not experienced. So now you always test wires. I use this tester. It's great. It's simple, it's easy. It's all dead. Okay. Now, what you do is you're going to take these screws off here, pop it out. There's a hot, a neutral, and a ground on this switch. You're just going to take this off and put it on the new switch, tuck these in, all right? Tuck these back in the box. Then you put the two switches on, the fake switch that goes here, and the real switch that goes here. Another tip, if you're taking off the old switch and you're going to throw it out like I am, like with that one, just take a drill, right? Put it in reverse and just blast the screw off. That way you could keep the same hooks to go on the new one, so you don't have to bend any new wire. You can keep that hook, saves you a little bit of time. Now, what happens if the box is sunk in a bit from the sheetrock? Say it's a 1/4 inch. Home Depot has these spacers, these rubber spacers. They're stackable. They're awesome. I use them in all my outlets because all the outlets were old boxes that were sunk in. And you could add depth to the outlet. It goes right behind the screw, right over here, right behind the screw. And you just kind of measure. You could eyeball it if you want. How many spacers you want. I think each one is probably 1/8 of an inch. And you can put them in back of there and it adds a lot of depth to it. I don't need it in this case, but I just want to share that with you. All right, so that's what it's going to look like. You got the fake switch here, the real one there. All the wires are nice and neatly tucked behind. So I spoke too soon about the spacers. All right, this doesn't have as much depth as the switch does. And the switch is fitting nicely in here. I actually probably could benefit from putting one spacer behind here and one spacer behind here because the housing is pretty deep itself. So what I'm going to do is put one spacer behind here, one spacer behind here, two behind here, and two behind here, and I probably will get the right depth. Might have to put 3 behind these. All right, so this is the finished product. You got the switch here. You got the false switch here. All right. Looks good. So the only thing is this is kicked out just a little bit from here. It's just the way the box is in back and the wall is. Really nothing you could do about that. But solid to me. And I had to use one spacer behind each. I thought I'd need 2 over here, but it kicked the false plate or false switch out too far, and there was a big gap here, so I I ended up taking one out and putting one on each side. It worked out pretty well. Temporary fix, but it looks pretty decent.